Hello everyone and welcome back to another Movie Night's Classic Movie Review. My name is Dalton and today we're going to be talking about 1950s Sunset Boulevard, a true classic. This film is directed by the amazing Billy Wilder and it stars William Holden, Gloria Swanson, and Eric von Strahan in the three main roles. Sorry, I had to look up the names, it slipped my memory. In the title of every classic movie review we've done so far, I put spoilers in the brackets, but I wanted to re-emphasize that for today's video specifically because if you have never seen Sunset Boulevard, which is currently streaming on Prime, watch it before seeing this video because I am going to be diving deep into spoilers of the film. Now, if the spoilers don't bother you, then, hey, keep watching, thanks for being here. But just wanted to re-emphasize the heads up that I will be spoiling some serious plot details of Sunset Boulevard. And it came out in 1950, you've had plenty of time to see it. Right off the bat, it must be noted that this film's script is perfect. I believe it was written by three people, Billy Wilder being one of them, and just the natural story progression, the dialogue, just everything that you want to keep a story engaging, interesting, and, grounded, this movie has. The movie's script is insanely good, which kind of naturally leads me to my next positive, which is the overall direction of this film by Billy Wilder. Billy Wilder is one of the great filmmakers of all time, possibly the greatest, arguably, and just the direction is so solid here. The camera lingers, it moves, and it really uses everything that a director can do to emphasize scenes, even if that means the lack of emphasis in certain areas to sort of catch you off guard at a later point. Naturally, with all that being said, another great thing about this is the performances in the film. Every single actor does amazing, especially Gloria Swanson as Norma Desmond. She absolutely kills it in this film. She kind of is the scene stealer, literally. And for those of you that don't know, this film is about a silent movie star played by Gloria Swanson named Norma Desmond, who really kind of is no longer in the spotlight, didn't transition to sound pictures very well, and she's kind of, the world's out to get her because, you didn't need sound in the movies, but she's planning this ultimate big comeback when she stumbles upon the main character of the film, which is a struggling writer in Hollywood. And, she offers him to live in this beautiful mansion to pay for everything just so he can help rewrite her sort of comeback movie. And he kind of can't say no because of the financial situation he's in. And he just slowly, throughout the film, sees, one, this lady is fucking nuts. There's really nothing he can do about it because she's paying for everything. She pays the rent on his apartment, and he's just like, look, this is kind of like the ultimate gig to have. I can't be stupid and say no to this. But at the same time, you slowly see the pain on this character's face as the time goes on as to just how much he hates himself for what he's doing because he knows it's wrong. He knows that no one really cares about this person anymore. She's completely in her own bubble, in her own world. She is just like, everybody loves me. I get fan letters every day, and, this and that. And he's just like, no. I'm at the lots. I know that no one cares about you, but he's not telling her this. He's withholding this from her just so he can, sort of get his life back on track. But as time goes on, he slowly realizes that he's a young man, and living with this, I think she's in her 50s, this kind of older lady, it's really taking a lot out of him because she starts not letting him leave. She starts getting very possessive and controlling over him and what he can and can't do. And it really starts to affect his personal life. So there's some tension caused there. And the just overall storytelling and how that's portrayed is just so beautifully done. This movie has tons of famous lines in it, and one of them being this.
You're Norma Desmond. Used to be in silent pictures. Used to be big.
I am big. It's the pictures that got small.
And just right there, it immediately tells you what you need to know about this character, and it just encapsulates you in the world of this movie even more. This film is also like a true film noir, and it's from the, kind of cheesy narration to just the, knowing that one of the characters is doomed by the end of the film, and it really just has this looming presence over the movie. And right away, getting into some spoilers here, right away it lets you know in the opening scene of this movie that the narrator, the main character, will be dead by the end. And the whole time you're just wondering, how is it going to happen? What events are going to lead to cause this? And as the movie slowly unfolds, you kind of realize, okay, I see what's going on here, but you're not even upset. You like that it's unfolding in a way that you know what's already happened. Some movies do that in an extremely poor way. This film does it in an excellent way. Part of the reason why I like the silent film aspect of the plot is because that was a real thing that happened in Hollywood like 20 or 30 years. Around the 20s into the 30s, movies went from being silent to being talkies, as they were called, and a lot of people's lost their careers because they just couldn't make the transition very well. And so, this is more of an exaggerated version of something like that happening, but there are plenty of real actors and performers who couldn't transition into talking movies, and you have that sympathy for her, even though she's out of her fucking mind. You sort of see, like, how she was literally on top of the world, and then overnight, that fame was kind of taken away from her. She's obsessed with, rekindling with Cecil B. DeMille, who's an actual real filmmaker who does play himself in the movie, and is just, reconnecting with him, making one last movie, or like her comeback movie, and you know it's not going to happen. And even like Cecil B. DeMille is kind of looking around like, what the hell is going on with her? And it's, at some point there's going to be a breaking point, or a point where she finds out and that shit's going to get bad. But then there's this incredible side part of the movie that's going on, which is played by her butler, who is the character played by Eric von Strahan, and the character's name is Max. You kind of see Max in the background of the movie throughout the whole thing, always helping her, making sure she has what she needs, and then the writer, the main character of the movie, kind of confronts him, finally, and is like, listen, what the hell is going on with her?
I made her a star, and I cannot let her be destroyed.
You made her a star.
Yes. I directed all her early films. I could have continued my career, only I found everything unendurable after she had left me. You see, I was her first husband.
He was her first husband, and he was the director of all of her early films. She's his director, both on the screen, and he kind of just took that role with the rest of her life. And he even mentions just being infatuated by her, which is something that the main character also struggles with, is while he hates this new life that he's living, he's infatuated by all this amazing things that she has. So while Max does sort of blame himself for why she's in this own little bubble, he kind of also sees it as his responsibility. He feels like it's his job to make sure that she lives the rest of her life in this happy little bubble and doesn't realize what's actually going on outside the world, and it just slowly made her fucking insane. And speaking of silent movies, it does pay homage to some classic silent movies, like she does a little bit as Charlie Chaplin, which is actually very nice. And something that's even more great about her performance is that in the movie, she is slightly more dramatic than every other actor. Not like in a way where it's annoying or too much, but she also is emphasizing throughout the whole movie that, like, she was a silent film star, and, like, that's how you acted when you were a silent film star. And it kind of carried over into how she acts in her real world. So when someone's being this level of dramatic, she's this level of dramatic. So her performance is really great in that way, because you see, like, she still feels like she has to be a little bit more dramatic than people she's with because of, like, just her silent movie background, which was just a really interesting thing to see. There's also a side plot going on with this movie with the main character, the writer, and another writer whom he is madly in love with, and it's sort of a love triangle going on. And that's what sort of draws him to sort of kind of get out of there and try to leave, which obviously doesn't go very well for him, as you found out at the beginning of the movie. And then, to really just top off how crazy this woman is and how much of in her own world she is, and in the insane denial that she has. Obviously, the police and the news reporter show up because she has murdered this man, and she's just not even listening to what they're saying. They're trying to interrogate her, and she's just completely ignoring them in the mirror doing her makeup. And then her butler, Max, understands, like, what has to happen. So he kind of goes up to her and says, "Hey, the cameras are here." And she goes, "Cameras? Oh, we must do the scene." And you watch her literally think in her mind that she's on a movie set, go down the stairs and give the ultimate famous line of,
"All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up."
And it has now been revealed to the world around her how crazy she is, and that she was stuck in her own little bubble. And it's really a tragic story, tragic ending, and it's just a truly fantastic movie. And something that I do with a lot of my classic reviews, is just any review in general, is I try to point out negatives. It's really hard to find negatives with this movie. It's, I really have to stretch, and, some 50s movies don't pace as well as movies now, just because it's not movies that we're accustomed to seeing. So sometimes it can get a little boring, but not really. I was still kind of engaged by the story in every scene. The sets are great. Like it's it's hard to really point out negatives with the film. The only negatives that I can really say and sort of put into words is it is a bit on the nose with some of the storytelling, but it's also a film noir, and that's part of a film noir. And while some of my favorite movies of all time are movies like Psycho, or movies like Stalag 17, which Billy Wilder also directed, the filmmaking in those movies truly just transcend filmmaking and just put you in this world of just true brilliance that you can see with movies of even later directors like Kubrick, Spielberg, even modern directors like Nolan, Villeneuve. And this movie doesn't quite reach that level, but it is still a truly fascinating story, and it's directed beautifully. So naturally, I'm going to give Sunset Boulevard an A+. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please look forward to more classic movie reviews every Thursday, and we'll see you next time.